Zala was a girl unlike the others in the village. Her beauty was natural. Her unparalleled, she had a smile capable of illuminating even the darkest. But behind this smile was a story of loss and trial. Her mother had died when she was still young, leaving her alone with her father. He a good who loved deeply, but fate had decided otherwise. Shortly after, he remarried and Naya Ravan settled in there at first. Zala hoped to find in her a loving someone who would take care of her like his real mother. But Niara was not that person. From the first day, Niara saw Zala as a threat. She had a daughter but whatever she did, her own child could never equal the grace and natural beauty of Zala. Every time Niara looked at Zala, a jealousy for her mother burned in her. She hated the way people admired the young girl, the way their gaze followed her when she passed. But what would excite her the most? It was that Zala never herself proud or arrogant of her beauty. She remained humble, always kind, always sweet. And that only Niara's one day. A news spread throughout the kingdom. A big royal was about to take it was the most anticipated of year. And every young woman dreamed of attending the prince in person would be there looking for his future wife. Zala's was filled with excitement. For once she allowed to dream. Maybe just maybe, would she have the chance to there? She already the grand palace, the beautiful music filling the air. But above all, she dreamed of an evening where she could feel free. Free from her sadness, free from the cruelty of her beautiful mother. Niara, however, had other thoughts in mind. As soon she saw the excitement in Zala's, her heart filled with hatred. It was out of that this girl shined like a no. She would everything in her power to destroy Zala's before they could become reality. The more Zala's grew, the more Machiavellian plan was set in motion. Soon the young girl would understand how far jealousy could go. From the moment Zala mentioned the Niaras turned dark. She put on her sewing and looked Zala with glaring you at the royal Recanatiel. Do you really think someone like you has place there? The heart of Zala will hold, but she looks good. Why not? Everyone is invited. I just to see the palace dance. Niara interrupted him with a dry and mocking you. Dancing with nobles? You think a prince would only look at you? She leaned towards her, her voice dripping with cruelty. You are only a poor girl with stupid. Zala holds her fists, trying to hold back her tears. She had always known that Niara did not it. But this time, it was different. It was pure hatred. Yet, she refused to up her dream. No matter what you say, she whispered. I will away to go. Niara shone with anger. Really? She said, a cruel smile stretching on her lips. Very well. Let's see how you prepare for a bullet when you won't have a second to breathe. Next morning, Niara handed Zala an endless of corvettes. Clean the whole house, wash all the clothes, return the floors to what they shine, and above all, prepare the dinner. Before sunset, she threw thee on the table. You won't have a second to think about this stupid ball. Zala trembled when she looked at the list. It was impossible. No one could accomplish so many tasks in a single day. But she wouldn't up, not yet. All day, she worked as fast as she could. Her hands hurt her by rubbing, her back through by leaning, but she didn't stop. She wouldn't Naya win. The sun was when she was finally with her last task. She wiped the sweat off her forehead and smiled a little. Maybe, just maybe, could she still make, but Niara had been her from the beginning. And seeing Zala standing up, with hope in her eyes, she knew she had to go further. You still think you're going to go to that ball? Niara, her voice strangely soft. She moved forward, tightening the scissors she was in her hand. Let's see how far you'll be after that. That night, while Zala was sleeping peacefully, unaware of what was waiting for, Niara slipped into her room. With a quick she grabbed a handful of long and beautiful hair from Zala, and began to cut. The night was quiet. The only noise in the house was Zala's exhausted by her day of work. She had put her head on the earring, she had fallen asleep. But while she was of the royal shining and beautiful music, something terrible was about to happen. Niara was standing on top of her bed, the scissors producing a sinister in the silent room. Mesh after mesh, she cut, leaving behind her unbalanced, irregular and messy. Zala moved slightly in her sleep, but did wake up. When Niara was finished, she retreated to admire her work. Zala's silky and elegant was nothing than a disaster. No prince would at her now. No one would call her beautiful. Let's see how she will go to the ball now, thought Niara, laughing gently as left the room. The next morning, A loud rumbled throughout the house, enough to shake the walls. The birds perched at the window without a frantic. Zala was standing in of the mirror, hands on her mouth, eyes gazing in horror. Her beautiful hair had disappeared, cut irregularly, some wavy in all directions, others almost non-existent. Her trembling fingers fluttered the uneven tears rising to her eyes. No, she shook her head as if it could cancel what had just happened. Nyara appeared at the door, a narquois on lips. "What's wrong, my dear? You don't like your new look?" She crossed her arms and let out a glacial, "I thought you wanted to go to the come on. Let's see if Prince Degni is licking you now." Zala turned to her, with look full of pain, anger and betrayal. "Why?" She breathed, her throat tight. "Why'd you do that?" Nyara raised her shoulders. "Because it was time you learned your place." Tears flowed on Zala's as she felt to her dream was broken, her beauty stale, and Nyara had won. Or at least, that's what she thought. Zala sat in front of the mirror, fixing her reflection through her tears. Her trembling passed through her cut irregularly. It was like a nightmare that she could not wake from. Her mother had taken the only thing that she had always been proud of. How could I face anyone like that? She would be one punish him. But deep down, something was to help. She had spent all her life being humiliated, feeling insignificant. Not this time. Never again. She wiped her tears and stood. "Nyara wants me hide. She wants me feel helpless. But I will her this satisfaction." Without losing a second more, she rolled a scarf around her head and rushed out of the house. There was only one person who could help her now. The old wise who lived at the end of the Mam Lumo, as it called, had seen many things during her long life. When she opened the door and saw Zala's face in tears, she immediately that terrible event had happened. She slowly the young girl inside and listened to empty her heart. "My beauty is gone," Zala fixing the ground. "How could I face the world like that? How could I never go to the Mam Lumo?" Smiled, his old eyes filled with heat. She stretched out hand and gently, "Zala's child does reside in the length of your hair, nor in the clothes you wear, nor in the jewels you wear. True beauty lies in your strength, your kindness, and the way you hold on." Zala sniffled. "But people will laugh at me." Kilri answered firmly, "Mum, the word. Walk with head up, and they will see something much bigger than long hair. They will see a girl who refuses to be broken." Zala remained silent, letting his words be immersed in her. Slowly, a spark lit up in her heart. She deeply breathed in and rose up, the determination filling her soul. With the mother Lamo, she combed her short in a way that no one had ever seen before. When she looked in the mirror, she no longer a broken, she saw someone strong, someone unique, someone ready to face the world. And no one, not even Nyara, could stop her now. The palette shone like a dream, these golden twinkling against the nocturnal. The music floated in the air. The laughter flashes resounded in the vast hall. And the women elegantly dressed turned in their sumptuous dresses. It was all that Zala had imagined and much more. She was on at the entrance, the heart beating to break. She did not the most beautiful dress, nor the most precious. Her dress was simple, fluid like water of a river, decorated with delicate motifs embroidered by her own hands. Her pink skull was magnificent and twinkled under the light. She took a deep breath. "I have my seat here, no matter what the others say." When she took a step inside, all heads turned towards her. The whispers spread like a powder. "Who is she? Look at her hair, how strange is. No girl with has ever been seen at a royal ball before." Laughter rose in the crowd. But Alan did not. She walked with grace, the chin raised, and unwavering in each step. Then she felt something. A look on her. Not a mocking, but an admiring. At top of the staircase, Prince Jabari fixed her. He had seen countless women that night. All seemed the most beautiful, their hair impeccably arranged. But none of them had caught his attention like Zala. She was different. There was her eyes a silent aflame that shone more intensely than all the jewels in the room. As she advanced with grace on the dance, a group of young nobles latched on to the look. One of them, a girl with long silky, smiled with mockery. "Poor girl," she said loudly enough for Zala to hear. "She cut her hair to look like a boy." The other girls hugged. Before Zala could answer, a loud and reassuring rang in the room. "I do not agree." The silence fell instantly. Prince Jabari had just advanced, his voice deepening the room. "She is the most beautiful woman here tonight. His eyes met those Zala. A light smile was on his lips. Because beauty does reside in the length of the hair, but in the way a person holds on and presents himself to world. A murmur of stupefaction ran through the room. Zala's was at full speed. For the first time in his life, someone was defending himself. And not just anyone, the prince himself. Nyara, who was watching the scene from afar, felt his sense of no. It was not like that, things were supposed to, not at all. In a corner of the Nyara squeezed the edges of her scarf, as hard as her joints in white. It couldn't happen. Not to her. Not to her. She had done to destroy her. She had cut her hair, humiliated, crushed her dreams. And yet she was there, standing in the center of the ball, shining like a star. People couldn't help but look at, but it was neither pity nor mockery, as Nyara had hoped. No, it was admiration. Sitting on their grand throne, the king and the queen were leaning forward, captivated. She holds on such grace, murmurs the queen to her husband. She is different from the others, reassures the king. There is strength in her gaze. Nyara felt her stomach growl. She wanted to scream. How? How could this happen? Then came the stroke of Prince Jabari, moved towards Allah. His eyes dark and piercing, laughed at her. The music got softer. The crowd was of breath. Would you me this dance? His deep voice resounded throughout the room. A murmur of amazement ran through the crowd. All the young women who had tried to attract the princes all evening remained frozen, their faces marked by disbelief. They had spent hours arranging their hair, perfecting their makeup, choosing the most sumptuous dresses. And yet he had chosen them. The girl with short hair they had despised. Zala's was cut. A moment she hesitated. Her gaze was on Nyara, who seemed to have seen a ghost. And at that moment something was in her. She turned to the prince, a sweet smile on lips, and gently her hand in hers. The music resumed, and everything slipped on the dance. Zala moved with a natural, her light dress revolving around her. Her heart beat faster at every step. The touch of the prince was both firm and delicate. Her eyes did her for a second. Around them, whispers were, but this time, it was not by cruelty. She is magnificent. She is so confident. The prince seems totally enraged by her. In her corner, Nyara felt her head turn. Her perfect had failed. She had tried to destroy Zala. But instead of that, she had made it unforgettable. And there was nothing she could do to stop it. As the last notes of music vanished, Prince Jabari was still Zala's, his look anchored in his. The whole ballroom was of breath, waiting, wondering what was to Zala's was beating fast. She had felt so seen, so precious. But nothing could have prepared for what happened next. Jabari took a deep breath and turned towards the crowd. I met many noble, he said, with a loud and clear, they are beautiful, graceful and charming. But tonight, I found someone who is much more than that. He turned to Zala, his softened, she is strength, kindness and courage. A suspended settled. Then, with a voice full of sincerity, he asked, Zala, would you me the honor to become my wife? A shocked murmur ran through the room. The women held their hands to their chest. The men exchanged stupefied, and Nyara? She almost collapsed. No. She shivering a long way through the crowd. Her face was deformed by rage. It's absurd. She is nobody. She has no title, no wealth. She is not worthy of you, your highness. But something had changed in the room. The same people who once murmured in Zala's looked at now with admiration. Sitting on their throne, the king and the queen watched the scene carefully. They exchanged a look each, and raised their heads with approval. Nobody paid any attention to Nyara. A tone of applause and cries of joy resounded in the room. The prince gently his hands and gave him a kiss, thus them to come together. Nyara, she remained frozen, alone, ignored, forgotten. She had lost over the days and weeks. Zala spread to four corners of kingdom. The story of the short-haired, the who had overcome jealousy and cruelty. The one who had proved to world that true beauty was not in appearance, but in soul. Her story became a legend, a source of inspiration for all those who felt small or unworthy. Young girls looked at with admiration, learning from her a precious lesson. Beauty did reside in conformity to expectations of world, but in the acceptance of what makes unique. From then on, the kingdom prospered, united by the lessons that Zala had taught. If you like Zala's, forget to like, share and subscribe for more inspiring. Tell us in comments, what have you learned from Zala's, and above all, remember, true beauty comes from within. So stay confident and well-groomed. Kursation,